Welcome to another round of Greenville Triumph Weekly here with SDH Networks and OSG Sports. Going to get you ready for Greenville and North Texas this Friday at Legacy early. As always, the anchor leg is run by Chris Ashley from YTSS. Yeah, that soccer show, the podcast, and GVLsoccer.com. We will also catch up with Marion Cole as she caught up with Brandon Fricke. Fricke and Noah Pilato, part of the USL League One Team of the Week. And we will get you set for everything else that you need to know when it comes to everything around League One with Chris as we get you ready for a very busy weekend in the sprint that is now the run-in for League One. So when we come back, real quick segment, quick interview that Marion Cole did with Brandon Fricke. Fricke, part of the back line for the Triumph that has turned USL League One into a bit of a stretch race right now, 7 points clear from Greenville to second place in League One. So when we come back from break, Marion Cole, Brandon Fricke, then after that, it'll be Chris Ashley, YTSS, the podcast, and GVLsoccer.com. Thanks for hanging out with us for another round of Triumph Week. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Georgia did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski & Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
All right, what's up, Brandon? You had a big week last week. Really, the whole entire defensive line of Greenville had a big week last week. Y'all were, honestly, it looked like the goats, just jumping over and over and over, blocking shot after shot. Tell me what the things that were going right for you guys in that game.
I think we were just switched on as a group, honestly, really in tune with each other, working off one another and, putting our bodies on the line at times to help save any goals, any chances. And it was really just being in sync. A lot of work went into training last week. We knew they were a dangerous team attacking-wise, and we needed to stay switched on. And I think we put a good 90 minutes out there and obviously got a good result.
So how do you keep the momentum going really through the last couple weeks into this 2019 final rematch?
Obviously we know it's going to be a tough game. They're coming into a bit of form. They're a very young, very talented team. We're going to have to stay switched on again. So it was good to see us do that against Chattanooga. It's a bit of a prelude to what's to come on Friday. We're going to have to stay switched on and mind our P's and Q's with these guys because they're very talented. And if we're not alert, they can definitely get in behind and cause us some trouble. So we're just going to stay disciplined as a unit, defend as a group, and we should be all right.
You touched on a little bit their ability to get in behind. So my last question for you is, what's been the focus of training this week? Has it been on what North Texas can bring? Has it been really on just what y'all are doing well?
Yeah, obviously we're aware of where they're strong and we want to be prepared for that, but mostly the focus is on us and where we can hurt them and take the game to them, and that's been our focus this week in areas that we can hopefully give them some trouble and continue this streak that we're on.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Georgia did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolensky of Apolensky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Welcome back, Greenville Triumph Weekly. Time for the anchor leg. Time to catch up with Chris Ashley of YTSS. Yeah, That Soccer Show, the podcast, gvlsoccer.com. Oh, how's the computer, by the way?
Computer, the laptop is holding. It's holding by its threads, but I did get the notification that my new one has shipped, so it'll be here hopefully in the next week or so.
Yay! Excellent. Good to hear, and hope it gets there in one piece. And you get to assemble it, and it takes far less time to assemble than I had to when I had to get the new laptop as well. So I have firm trust that you will assemble things far sooner and faster and better than I do.
I hope so.
All right, so let's go back to the 19th and 1 o'clock start. So it was an early start. But Red Wolves have kind of figured that because of the weather here and this time of the year and no lights at CHI Memorial that they've got to do things early. But it was an early start, and it was one of those nail biters all the way through.
Yeah, it was a good match. I wondered if 3 matches back-to-back for the Red Wolves would start to show some tired legs there in the second half. I think that's what happened a little bit. It was a pretty interesting match for Greenville. They came out and looked a little bit more like the Greenville of 2019. They didn't want to press and attack so much as they wanted to just kind of sit back, possess the ball, wait for an opportunity to counter. It was vintage Triumph, if you will. There was some good chances early on. There was a moment where Alex Mangles comes all the way out of the box and form tackles. I think it was Lachlan.
Yeah, it was in the 20th.
Yeah, on a break, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not a red, but at the moment I was pretty hot about that one because I think he had a good chance to get in there and poke one in. But yeah, it was a scrappy match. I think you started to see some real physical play, especially as we got to the second half, as some of those tired legs for the Red Wolves started to show. And then it's funny enough, Harks makes this odd substitution, and I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be fun. I guess we're changing formation a little bit here. We're going to get that 4-4-2 action. And I mean, almost immediately, I think it was like 2 or 3 minutes later, Noah Pilato gets that geometry bending goal. And right after the goal happens, you see Harks sub off Lachlan and put a defender on. I'm like, we're going right back to what we were. We made the formation shift. We got our goal, and we're going right back. And that's why, I was making the push on Twitter for Harks to be man of the match, because I think that tactical move is really what set this team up for that game-winning goal.
And at the same time, there was that late chance by Chattanooga involving Stephen Beatty. But when you have two keepers like Alex Mengels and Dallas J, it was Dallas's time to step up and make the save on Beatty as he had a bit of a break.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that always happens with Dallas, particularly this year. Last year he had that Golden Glove award, but last year he wasn't having to make a lot of saves. The defense was really kind of keeping chances away from the goal. This year, the defense is still really strong, but I think because of the way the Triumph have been playing, there have been more opportunities for opponents to come and get shots on goal. So instead of having to make maybe one big save a match, Dallas sometimes having to make 2 or 3 big saves a match. He's still, walking away with the Golden Glove in terms of goals against average. And I think he's making a really strong case for a goalkeeper to be potentially MVP of this league. Honestly, his biggest competition at the moment is Terzaghi up in Richmond and a guy on his own team, Alex Morel.
And when you look at how things are right now with the standings, Richmond has 2 matches in hand, but they're 8 points back, and they are 1 point behind Chattanooga, who's even with Greenville right now with 11 matches played. So Richmond is going to have to catch fire all over again to get north of that finals bar. But right now, Greenville is 7 clear with 5 to play.
Yeah, got 5 games to play. Need 10 points is the magic number to secure a spot in the final. But this team so far this year has been averaging 2.27 points per game. So they're, as long as they keep pace with what they've been doing, they're going to easily secure their spot in the final. I think the big question is going to be, can this team host a final? And I think they're in good position. If you look, this Red Wolves match was kind of the last big test, with the exception of getting Omaha at home at the end of October for the home finale. But we're playing Orlando City B twice. We've got North Texas SC at home this Friday, a rematch of last year's championship game, but this is a very different North Texas team. Playing Tucson, and I think there's one more. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but again, getting a lot of the bottom feeders down this stretch run. Greenville took care of business early. They had their match compression early. Now you've got a game a week, so it's spread out. You're not going to be stacked on top of each other. We haven't had to have any games rescheduled or postponed because of COVID. And as long as that doesn't happen down the stretch here, I think they're setting up well to be able to host a final and go in really strong.
Union Omaha on the 18th is the other one.
No, well, I said Omaha,
Tucson,
Orlando, Tucson, Orlando twice, and
right.
North Texas. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
So I got them all. That's it. Yeah, and so I think that's a really good schedule that lines up here for the Triumph.
Yeah, so you're looking at North Texas coming to town 7 o'clock this Friday at Legacy Early. North Texas 2-2-5 this year, and only +1 in the goal difference. They've drawn 3 of their last 4, but as you said, this is an entirely different team with North Texas than it was last year, because you had Cervania, you had Pepe, you had that firepower that's now a part of what Luchi Gonzalez has with the parent club. North Texas SC, definitely different right now. They are at 9th in the table on goal difference, and with 9 games played, only 11 points, tied with Ford Madison and Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and it's a team too that, because of what you've seen, down your way, you're calling games with Atlanta United 2 this season. These affiliate teams are having a harder time this season because players can't go back and forth. So North Texas isn't bringing down their backup goalkeeper or their backup midfielder to come down and, get some minutes and get some time against USL League One talent. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these B teams at the bottom of the table in League One, and the independent teams really kind of rising to the top. It's a good year for that. It's a good year to not have to worry about walking into a final and having a completely different lineup of players.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're not having to play your namesake back there on the back line, in North Texas like we did in the final last year. And then another one, North Texas is going to be without Edwin Cirillo because evidently you're not allowed to just headbutt players in the middle of matches. So he's going to be serving a suspension too. And again, that helps the Triumph. I think the Triumph are set up well. I don't know. I'll be interested to see. I think, North Texas is a better team than Orlando. We've got Orlando next week. I'm interested to see what the rotation is going to start to look like down the stretch as we get some of these easier opponents. Is Hart's going to try and get some more minutes for some guys in order to be ready for whatever they get to face in the final? it'll be interesting.
To go with the official words out of the League One office, North Texas SC's Edwin Cirillo has been suspended for 2 games following his red card for violent conduct against FC Tucson on September 19. Unavailable for North Texas's contests against Greenville Triumph and Fort Lauderdale CF. So that's the official word on Edwin. But to your point about the second teams, Fort Lauderdale CF is 8th at 11. North Texas is 9th at 11. New England Revolution 2 is 10th at 8 points, and OCB is last right now, 9 matches played and 6 points. And all of the independent sides, Greenville, Chattanooga, Richmond, Omaha, Tucson, Tormenta, Madison, that's your top 7. So definitely, because you can't go back and forth, and it's something that a lot of folks we normally are looking at when you have second teams and first teams about drifting folks down, whether it's into USL Championship or down to USL League One. And it's something that teams have had to adjust to on the fly, and you're having younger rosters going at it. You're having teenagers really getting a lot of reps this year for a lot of those second teams.
Yeah, and that's good for those parent clubs that are getting to see the development of some young players. I think it's gonna be good for even those League One teams going forward, because some of these 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds aren't going to go play. They might go play for Dallas. Dallas likes to bring up those young guys.
Yeah.
But, a lot of these teams are not going to bring those guys up, in the next year or two. And so it's good for them to get some minutes to be able to develop better as a team. And then I think, I think honestly, a lot of these teams, we're going to have to look to 2021 and say, we're probably not going to be bringing people back and forth in 2021 either. It doesn't feel like. So, I think this is going to be the normal for the next couple seasons, and that is all good things for a team like the Triumph, who has a really strong core, has ownership that wants to win, has a coach that desperately wants to win. And I think you guys talked about it on Soccer Down Here today about Ben Olsen up in DC, and I don't know if I want us to do so well that DC gets rid of Olsen and comes looking at their former player. John Harks down here, if he wins a title this season, he's not going to be able to say no to that. I feel good about where the Triumph are as an organization, but don't leave me, Harksy.
You heard it right here first. Harksy, you're not supposed to leave. Chris Ashley said so, because he also has a birthday coming up too, and your birthday's paired up with one of the home matches, right?
Well, it's the day before. I'm the 17th, but they're having a home match, the home finale against Omaha on the 18th. The last year, the League One final was on the 18th, and I spent my birthday weekend down in Texas. So good things abound when it's birthday season. So I'm hoping at that point we'll be able to lock up hosting the final, and that'll be a good present.
Fricke and Pilato also made Team of the Week. Yeah,
they did. Yeah, Pilato is one of those guys. I think he's very underrated. He's kind of a low key guy. He's a midfielder, but he's doing so much on both directions, defending and creating chances, and even the goal he scored. He started that whole sequence by drawing defenders to him. He gets it to Lachlan. Lachlan gets it to Alex, and then Alex finds Pilato back on the back post. He's a guy that I think he's a little underappreciated just because of the position he's in. He's not going to be somebody scoring a bunch of goals, or he's not going to be making a bunch of saves. He's kind of just a big glue piece there. He and Aaron Walker both right there in the midfield. And Pilato has made himself indispensable in Coach Harks' starting lineup. Fricke, look, he was one of the best defenders in the league last year for Lansing, and the fact that you're able to bring him into the best defense in the league and just bolster that up, that's awesome. So he's done well this year as well.
Friday night, 7:00, Legacy early on September 25th, presented by our friends at Hilton Greenville. You can watch on ESPN+. What's going on at YTSS and GVL Soccer as much as we're waiting for the new laptop to show?
Yeah, well, while I'm waiting, I've been, for the last couple of weeks, had to get some approval from my friends over at the Reedy River Riot, but I have put together a TIFO that will be unfurled on Friday night. Something that's near and dear to me, something I feel like is very important, a statement that I want to make for the fandom, and the Riot guys have given me the AOK and support on it. So I've been working on that this week, going to roll that out, and hopefully it'll be something that folks will appreciate.
All right. So for folks that want to listen to stuff and read stuff, where do they go?
Yeah, you can go to gvlsoccer.com for all the written work. You can go search That Soccer Show on all your podcatchers. Follow the podcast and the website on Twitter at YTSS Podcasts. But if you really want to get all the hot takes, you just come follow me at GVL Soccer Guy. I will say the podcast account, is where I live tweet the away games very heavily, the home games a little bit, as much as I can while I'm out there. But yeah, that's where all the fun gifs and trash talking of the refs and all that good stuff goes down.
Definitely. Chris, as always, thanks for hanging out with us for our 1v1s and our time when we do Greenville Triumph Weekly. Thanks for hanging out with us for another week. We will catch up next week because once North Texas is in the rearview mirror, we head into October, and it's OCB on the 2nd. We'll catch up with you next week. Thanks, my friend.
Sounds good, John. See ya.
When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show. You're listening to Greenville Triumph Weekly, OSG Sports, SDH Networks. We'll be right back after this.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Georgia did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolensky of Apolensky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Time to put a bow on yet another show for Greenville Triumph Weekly here with SDH Networks and OSG Sports. Reminder, Friday night at 7 at Legacy Early. North Texas SC comes to town, presented by our friends at Hilton Greenville. Go to greenvilletriumph.com and to get all the information that you need to know. Also, don't forget to download the Greenville Triumph app, available iOS and Android, for all the information that you need on a daily basis. Any alerts, any news, anything going on around USL League One. Don't forget to download the Greenville Triumph app, available iOS and Android. As always, good to hear from Marion Cole. Good to catch up with Chris Ashley. And good to hear from you. Have a good one this weekend. Once again, 7 o'clock, ESPN Plus, if you can't make it to Legacy Early. Greenville, North Texas. And if the math is right from Chris, the magic number is now 10 in the final 5 matches to secure the home berth of the USL League One final here in 2020. So thanks for hanging out with us as always. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy the match. It's going to be a good one. We'll catch up with you next week.